earlier that you saw.
Oh,
Stretching and
it's a runner, stretcher.
Is he still with that same girl?
This
It could have been
is
40.
the
I have
Grow
no
Business
idea.
Podcast with Cory Mosley.
Find some way to blow it up. How about that March Madness?
Yeah, how about that?
Yes, you all were talking about that.
We were talking about
Yeah.
March Madness. Yeah.
Yeah, I got no idea.
We were talking about.
I don't know how anybody has. How do you have time to watch all of this stuff? Do you just have endless games on, like different TVs on in your house where people are just shouting back and forth and you're trying to, like, or you go to the sports bar and you're trying to watch 19 games? Like, what is this? Just one big ball of confusion?
Right. Yeah, kind of.
An opportunity to get people to just, that was abrupt. The opportunity to get people to just, like what?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. There are some people that set
There's
up
people's head
multiple
doing
TVs.
this.
Right.
Running back and forth.
And you know what channels the games are on, so you can flip in between and you commercials
Right.
and they stagger them. But I mean, I don't know how people watch every minute of every game, but there are a couple of games that
Stand
were
out to
point
you.
of viewing. Yeah.
I'm impressed by the how they track all the action.
Right.
Like, and you're talking about an era of technology.
Right.
You know, how did like can you before like old school bookie?
Right. When you had to handwrite it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to
I mean,
post it.
even some of the computer systems weren't. I'm not telling on myself here. I mean, back in the day,
Right.
we had a bookie. There was a bookie guy.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't my through a friend of a friend.
Right. Like you knew a bookie.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
didn't
Well,
live-
they had an online. They did have, and this is 20 years ago.
Okay.
So you would go online,
Okay.
not sophisticated, not like
Right.
these apps that we have today, but like you would have your, whatever line bet, whatever they
It was
call
all
it.
coded, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
'cause
No, it was
wasn't
pretty
legal.
obvious. It was like because we would bet boxing primarily.
Okay.
So this was back when like Lennox Lewis was still boxing,
Sure.
a couple other people.
Yeah.
But like it was, I mean, you put your piece in the computer, and then if you hit, like Jerry showed up.
Right.
This was when I was in the car business.
Right.
Jerry showed up at the dealership
Is that right?
with your
Okay.
money in an envelope,
There you go.
and he did the reverse.
Right. If you didn't hit, he showed up to
yeah.
collect.
He showed up with an
Right.
empty envelope for you to put money in.
That's right.
But now, I mean, it's so sophisticated with all the apps and
Mm-hmm.
the parlays and the this, that, and the other,
Right.
and it's enough to. I just never understood where people had time to, because that's a skill,
Yes.
right? Handicapping or
Yeah.
these different factors. There's a skill to that, but also there's so much work to know what you're looking at.
Yes.
And I just say to myself, like, it's kind of like going to Vegas. It's like going to Vegas and stuff, and I see people like the craps table, and
Mhm.
I find these games to be, or like Pie Gow or some of these things. I find these things to have some level of sophistication to kind of like how you're doing it.
Yep.
And I'm
Yes.
just like, where do you find the time to
Right.
get good at that stuff?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, that's their hobby. I mean, that's
Yeah, I
their.
guess.
that's
I need
their
a hobby. I
attraction.
don't have a hobby. This is my hobby, apparently.
Right.
Maybe this is my hobby till we
Right.
get some sponsors.
One of them. Right.
So- what they call a labor of love.
Right, exactly.
Well, folks,
That's exactly
if you
right.
did not know where you are, Willie H is looking at the time. He's like, we've been talking for 4 minutes, and we haven't even told anybody where they are. As if they do not know that. Yes, folks, they know what button they clicked on here. They didn't come here by accident. But if you did come here by accident,
Right.
you're listening to the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Mosley. And I'm joined by the incomparable, esteemed LG007. Lon Graham is here.
Voice of reason.
It's good to be here, Cory.
And our main man making sure you can hear us and see us.
Yeah.
None other than Willie H. He's here.
Hit the buttons, William.
Willie H. has celebrated a birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Willie.
Yes. Yes. Hair has already left the station, though. So
Yeah.
there's no. At that point, what become the signs of aging? What are you looking for? Is it like saddlebags or what? What are the things that you're trying to fend off at that point as we age? Because you're not holding on to hair. That train left the station
Right.
for him a long time ago.
Sure.
You and I are holding on in our
Right.
preferred methods. I mean, I have an opportunity for more hair than you, but But what are
It's
you
less
trying? I mean,
work.
what are you really trying to? You're trying to keep the wrinkles away. What are you trying to fend off? You're looking pretty good for your age.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
kind.
yeah,
Appreciate
yeah. I
it.
was a little right. You were older than I thought
Right,
when we were talking
I am older
offline.
than you thought.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So, yeah. Tell me about your beauty routine. Maybe do an episode on that under mindset. How do you?
Right. I'll tell you one of the things that does, and I don't do it enough. So this
Yeah.
is why I know it works, because when
Mm.
I do it, it does work. Is sleep. Sleep's
Oh.
huge. Sleep.
You're
Good
not.
sleep.
You don't sleep.
Well, I mean, I just I stay up watching basketball.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a problem. Yeah, you got to get your hour. Everybody is talking. I mean, all the longevity people
Right.
all go back to sleep. I mean,
Yep.
they start that like as the foundation, your
Yes.
ability to repair, and you got to do the whole Monty. So
Yeah.
70 degrees, all black.
Create an
No
ideal sleep
blue
environment.
light.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Put your phones
My
down.
mother's like, you need to come over and install the apps on my TV for my bedroom. I'm like, you don't need it.
Right.
Go to
Right.
sleep.
Right. Turn that thing off.
Yeah, go to sleep. Turn
Right.
that thing off. That didn't work, but I at least floated it out there. Hey, folks. Well, as you know, if this is your first time, if this is not your first time, welcome back. We're glad to have you another week. If this is your first time checking out the Grow Business Podcast, Lon and I are here every week to help you do one thing, and that's grow your business. Solo business, large business, small business, you're an SMB, an SME, any acronyms you associate with.
Right.
We think there's something for everybody. We
Yes.
do this under what I call the 5 pillars of business growth, because I believe structurally, after 20 years consulting, that every business growth challenge falls under one of these 5 areas: mindset, sales, marketing, operations, or people. This is reflected in my latest book, Position for Growth, available now on Amazon.com, also at CoryMosley.com. And so that's how we structure it.
Mhm.
LG007 has been fluctuating in his success of predicting the topics. One of the things that we do to try to make it fun here is we never tell him. We never tell him what we're going to talk about, so we get kind of his instant reaction.
Right.
We get him to dig deep into his well of knowledge.
Right.
And then typically we always find out something that I didn't even know. Like, you had a lot of jobs I didn't know about. You worked a lot of
They
places.
continue to pop up.
Yeah, it comes
too.
up. So today you want to take a run at what we're going to talk about.
Sure. I was thinking about this all day, so I'm going to call it mindset.
Okay. Called it mindset. All right. Glad to know that your crystal ball is still out of whack.
It's still
Did he get
dirty.
it right last week, Willie H? Oh, he did.
I got it right last week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we did. What did we do? Operations. We did financial
Yeah. Well,
structuring. Yeah.
surprise. We're doing that again.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would have.
Now, I think because I really, over this past week, just kind of seeing a lot of interesting things, a lot of tech talk, a lot of stuff about Apple and what they're doing with things and patents
sure.
they're registering. There's this new video being circulated about the Ring camera now that flies. So it sits in a contraption in your house.
Okay.
And if it hears something or detects something, it flies. It can helicopter itself in the air
Okay.
and move around your home.
So kind of like a drone.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
A drone camera, a Ring camera. So it deploys out and it can move around the house.
Okay.
So like if the alarm goes off or something, it will deploy and go to that area and give you coverage of that area. So like it can roam around your house.
So you can pull. Oh,
Yeah.
so when you first said the Ring camera, I was thinking like a ring on your finger.
Oh, no, yeah.
And
Well,
the
Apple's going
reason-
to do that. They're going to put a camera on some stuff.
Well, that's what made me think
Yeah.
about like jewelry as opposed to Ring the brand.
Mm.
But wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So,
gotta-
so with all of it, what it got me thinking was, because a lot of times I've also seen companies lately, maybe like rolling out initiatives or doing things that don't actually add value to the customer experience,
Right.
don't add value, don't make them more efficient, but like it's kind of like, oh, we're doing this because everybody else is doing it.
Okay.
Even though we may not do it well.
Right.
Or, we're going to go to a kiosk-only ordering system in our retail place, and then the iPads are constantly down,
Right.
or like half of them don't work.
Right.
So you're defeating the whole like purpose. So, so we're talking about innovation today,
Okay.
and this could be. I mean, if we wanted to make, I mean, I could put this under sales, but I think operationally, do what you will with it.
Yeah, it's internal.
Yeah,
I mean,
do what you will with it.
internal.
Yeah. So the idea is it time to innovate?
Okay.
And some ways to identify that, but do it in a way that's not simply you chasing shiny objects.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the twist.
Yeah, it's good.
So sometimes people are trying to innovate for the sake of innovating, and then
Right.
again, it just doesn't serve any purpose.
Right.
Oh, we're going to add a new text communication system to drive sales, but we haven't updated the website. So we're going to drive more people to the website that
Right.
doesn't work, or we're going to we're just going to innovate in this way. We're going to add technology to the mix and think technology is going to solve the problem,
Right.
not necessarily, but it can sometimes create a problem.
Right. Exactly.
We're going to go with barcodes, but we're going to get the cheapest ones, so the ones that don't work half the time.
Right.
Right? So that's what we're talking about.
Sure.
So because we'd all agree, right? You'd agree innovation is not optional.
Correct.
It's essential.
Yes.
The question is knowing when to innovate and how to do it strategically
Right.
can make the difference, in growth or wasted effort.
Well, you're absolutely right. If you do it strategically and you do it well, it can drive growth.
Yes.
If you slapstick it, it can drive your business into the ground.
Yeah. Well, and I think the interesting thing is, and this was I think an evolution for me in a lot of different ways. I started following a particular guy that this discussion about boring businesses.
Okay.
That people like to get excited. Like we think the only good business is like an exciting business.
Okay.
But there's like boring businesses. Like the guy or girl who sells pallets.
Right.
Like nothing exciting about that. Right? You sell pallets. I sell widgets. We sell washers.
Right.
Like nothing exciting about that. So I think what people, I think there's a misconception because innovation also isn't always flashy.
Correct.
So it's not just about launching a new product or the latest app. It's about actually improving the business model, the systems, or the offering.
Right. And often the best innovations are the ones you don't see.
Yeah.
Which is what you're talking about, not always being flashy.
And you could kill the customer experience. I was at a restaurant on Saturday, like an open concept, like not cafeteria style, but open concept. You go order and it's like half market, and half food kind of
almost
thing.
like a food hall type.
Yes, yeah, kind of like that. But so all that's great, fresh food, everything looks great, nice, overpriced stuff there, tasty, healthy.
Right.
12 kombucha options, for Willie H over there.
Right.
But they had one soda machine.
Okay.
And they had, healthy soda, if that's such a thing. But one place to get ice. So in that machine were your soda options, but that's also where you had to go get ice. So even if you want a soda drinker, if you wanted ice in your unsweet tea or you wanted ice in your water, you still had to go there.
Okay.
Well, the ice machine couldn't keep up.
Okay.
So now I've got this great experience. I'm flowing through this place. I've got my $12 sandwich. I've got my everything. And I go to get ice. And now there's a backlog. There's a traffic jam at the ice place, at the ice machine.
Interesting.
Seems like an avoidable. How about you get another ice machine?
Right.
Well, you get a second soda machine, or you get the next level up because every ice machine is not. There weren't 300 people. I mean, it was busy, but it was not. That was clearly just a bad decision.
Yeah.
In terms of knowing, like it's running a little slow. Old Betty. Oh, Betty's running a little slow today. Like, to me, it just, because here I am talking about it. I'm not saying the restaurant's name, but here I am talking about it, and that affected my experience.
Yes.
Because then I didn't get as much ice as I wanted.
Right.
My beverage wasn't as cold as I wanted to be.
Right.
And that just, my experience. So,
that bad.
Yeah, innovation would be getting the freaking right size ice machine for people. What a terrible way to kill the experience.
Yeah, we're finding a way to get a second one and put it in
Make it
make it more accessible as a bottom
So let's talk about some signs that
Okay.
it might be time to innovate your business.
Okay.
Really looking at these as indicators. I mean, that's what we're doing, right? We're
Right.
talking about some indicators, some thought starters. That's really what we accomplish here. Again, we always say we're not here to be your gurus,
Right.
but we want to talk about some things that maybe make sense. If they make sense for you, you try them, you implement them, you share it with a friend, and then you send us a care package.
Right, exactly.
Cash.
A cash package. Well,
we need
replicate
we
Tony's
need Willie
experience.
H. We need a news ticker with our Venmo on it.
Exactly. Either that or Tony could come with an envelope, and maybe that'd be fine too.
Tony. We'll have to adjust those levels. All right. So signs. Okay, let's look at this. 5 signs.
Okay.
Growth has plateaued.
Okay.
Customer expectations have changed.
Okay.
I'm going to do the 5 and then let you come in. So growth has plateaued. Customer expectations have changed. Competitors are pulling ahead.
Okay.
You're dependent on legacy systems.
Okay.
So outdated tools or manual processes. You're not attracting new customers. Your
Okay.
marketing is not converting.
Yeah.
Jump in wherever.
Well, I like the one that is probably the most obvious from the inside out is growth has plateaued. And that means, it could mean a lot of different things, but when growth plateaus, it means that you've got to do something to stimulate some new growth. And whether you've maxed out and you can't handle anymore and you need to innovate so that you can create space for more clients or for more business. Sometimes that's technology. Sometimes that's adding new people internally. When we talk about operations, or the people that you have, are the people that you have your ice machine. Are they the only one, have they maxed out and they can't keep up? So I look at, they're all valuable, but I think the growth plateauing is the one that is the most evident and the easiest to identify in that group of 5.
Gotcha. Now, what do you think about some of the other ones? So like, when we talk about customer expectations, so what does that mean? We're talking about like more complaints,
right?
More requests, more questions, things that didn't come up before.
Right.
What are your thoughts there?
Well, and I think that that's a good indicator. One of the hard things, and we both have worked in sales for a long time. And I say this, and when I got into sales leadership, customers would call me and say, "Hey, look, I'm frustrated with this experience." And I will say this, I don't love hearing that somebody's frustrated with their experience.
Right.
But what I do love is that they care enough about their experience and working with us that they're willing to share their perspective on it, so that we can address it to continue to work together. So when you've got clients or customers that are sharing, "Hey, I think this would make it a better experience," listen to those because they care enough to want to keep doing business with you.
Well, the other thing too there is that you bring up another point, unrelated but connected, which is why businesses need to be pushing for reviews.
Right.
Because the typical scenario is complainers or people who had problems are that's the reaction.
Right.
Right. Oh, I'm gonna tear you up on Google. I'm gonna tear you up online. So if you're not, because nobody's perfect.
Correct.
Except I think we have 5-star review. I think we have 5-star reviews.
We got a couple.
But if you're not, then that's how those one-offs kill you.
Right.
So like, this is big for us with restaurants. I always read restaurant reviews, but I always read them in context. So this place that we were talking, that I just told you we went to Saturday, I looked them up and they had like a 4.3.
Okay.
So I wanted to know what, so when I go through the reviews, I actually look at what they're saying.
Right.
So it wasn't complaints about food, which is my greatest concern.
Right.
There were nuanced complaints. Someone gave them a 1 star because the DoorDasher left their food out front.
Right.
And didn't like ring the doorbell or something.
Right.
So like that wasn't even related to their business action.
Correct.
So you need to have the 5 stars. You need to have the happy people. You need to proactively go after them because normally people are not normally incentivized to just go give you a good review.
Right. Well, and the 5-star, the good reviews do 2 things for you. One, they validate you for people that haven't done gone there yet. We'll use your restaurant example. If this is your first time going there, you go look at the reviews. A 4+ is going to validate the fact that the people have had a good experience there.
Right.
And so give you confidence to go there. The other thing it does, that there's a psychological piece to this, is the people that give you reviews that have had good experiences, it reinforces that good experience, so they're more likely to come back.
Yes.
So
Voice of reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, so all of those things are valuable, and we bring it back to time to innovate, right?
Yeah.
Look at the people that like your business. Look at the people that have shared how much they like it and are coming back and doing business with you, and then start to listen to those people when they talk about, well, I'd like to see this a little bit different, or somebody else did that, and it was a great experience. If you could incorporate that, it would make it a better experience here.
Well, too, what do you think about? Because I hear people say this, and I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. Cory, I don't. This is the third one. Competitors are pulling ahead.
Okay.
Cory, I don't pay attention to what the other competitors do. I just run my race.
Right. I think it's a little short-sighted.
A little.
Well,
I think you're being generous.
Well,
generous there.
It depends.
Willie H., what do you say about that?
That's just dumb.
Right. Well, it depends. The answer is it depends. If your competitor's pulling ahead of you in a different direction, and that's not a direction you want to go, then lean into what you're currently doing.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the statement is, I just run my race. I don't pay attention. I don't need to see what other people are doing.
Well, I think you've got to understand what's going on in the world that you live in.
Correct. And I think that gets confused. That's not to be confused with, I'm trying to do everything my competitor's doing.
Correct. Right.
Right. Knowing doesn't mean I'm trying to copy everything my competitor is doing.
Right.
Or that you should be doing that. But you need to know what's happening in the marketplace.
Right.
Because many times that competitive advantage goes away, and then now you're scrambling. You can't get it back.
Right.
That train has, as they say, left the station.
Right. Yeah. And so that being aware of what your competitor is doing is important. That is absolutely important, because then you can make the decisions. Are they doing something I should be incorporating or I should be looking at?
Right.
Or are they going in a direction that doesn't align with my business?
Sure.
And so, yes, the awareness piece is absolutely important and absolutely critical. And because it also shows, here's the other piece of it. Not everybody knows who their competitors are. And those are the businesses that don't last very long.
Well, particularly now.
Right.
Particularly now, where so many things spill over into others, but you can have competitors popping up that you don't realize.
Correct.
That are on the radar.
Well, we're always competing for dollars. I mean, that's what it comes down to. The bottom line is we're always competing for dollars.
Yeah.
So where are we competing? With whom are we competing? And who is our target audience or our target client?
Right.
Yeah.
Legacy systems, outdated tools, manual processes, slowing down operations.
Yeah.
Our computers are down. Our systems are down.
Right.
And then we've talked about this in so many ways, in other episodes relative to upgrading systems and CRMs and things of that nature. But in this context, right, we're saying, hey, are you dependent on that legacy system right now?
Right.
Because when you think about, so-and-so's declaring bankruptcy, so-and-so, if you think back to things that you observed as a customer,
right,
you think about a Sears, you think about some of these companies,
right.
I recall a Kmart.
Yeah.
I recall being in there. This what's the music store that just went filed? Was it anybody? What was the one that just filed for bankruptcy?
I don't know that one.
What are the ones?
You'll say it and I'll recognize it though.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Oh, you talking about Kits or the
no. Like
that...
it's like a music center.
Oh, there was one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What am I thinking of?
Piano place.
Now I gotta know what it is.
So piano. That's where
guitar. Is it Guitar Center?
Maybe. Yeah.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those over here.
That's right. That was right.
Sam Ash. Is that who went bankrupt? Let's see.
Okay.
Sam
there was
Ash
one right
bankruptcy filing. Yeah. Yes, they filed for Sam Ash assets acquired. So
or Joanne's Fabrics. I mean,
Yeah, but Sam Ash, I can tell you because we went there. I think looked for some equipment there one time, and Willie H and I, we were both right. We were looking for like a core something. I think we got these stands from there or something, right? We ended up picking up something from there, but I remember going through the process.
Okay,
and I think it was a dot matrix printer in there, printing that receipt out, and the guy made the comment like, "Oh yeah, our computers are so old."
Right.
What do you know?
Right.
What do you know? What do you say? What do you know?
Well, in technology, technology is important because it is the speed. It allows for the speed at which you want to do business. And this is an example, that dot matrix printer, now LaserJet. Now there's the 3D printers and all that.
Right.
But going back to your ice maker example in the very beginning at the restaurant this weekend. What happens is when your technology slows you down, it bottlenecks your customer experience. And when you bottleneck your customer experience, you make it harder for you to get more customers through the door.
Right.
And to provide the type of business experience and customer experience that you want them to have. And so technology ends up being a barrier to success if you don't continue to address it.
That's right.
And we joked about, I think in one of the previous episodes, we joked about that specific store having Tandy computers as part.
Right. Yeah. We probably did talk about that. Yeah.
So I mean, same thing, right? It's if you're
another brand that didn't keep up with it, RadioShack.
RadioShack, right?
Now they still exist somewhere online or something like as a brand name.
Okay.
Yeah, as a brand name, but
sure.
not not the go-to place.
Right,
for
because their
Tandies.
technology didn't evolve.
For Tandies.
For Tandies, right? Wow.
Get a Tandy.
Going way back now.
I just made that jingle up.
Yeah.
All right, we got a bonus one on here.
Okay.
Employee engagement is low.
Okay.
Teams less motivated.
Right.
Innovation is stalling internally.
Correct.
And that's causing turnover.
Okay.
Right. We might hear this term. This is a sinking ship.
Right.
Right. Might hear employees, make those kind of references.
Right. That's the experience. There's a customer experience and then there's an employee experience. And are you creating opportunities for your employees to grow and develop? And does it require innovation to be able to do that?
Right.
Because that person that was at the Sam Ash store that says, yeah, it's our printer, it's just slow.
Right.
is going to be somewhere else shopping and see a retail experience that's different. And it's like, well, I would love not to have to ask my customer to wait after they've already paid me to get their receipt.
Right. Right.
So they're going to go to get a better experience because they've seen it when they shop.
Right.
So agreed. Yeah. That internal employee experience is important and often at least as important, if not more important than your customer.
And man, this is just a subsequent episode we're going to have on this topic, but
right.
Man, people can kill a business so fast, especially customer-facing roles.
Correct.
Like I don't understand when I go into an organization and you've just got deadpan personality people.
Right.
There's a Starbucks that we go to, and if there's a certain person there at that register, it's just not a jovial time.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what it is. And there are just some people that also just they're just miserable.
Yeah.
I don't know how they pass the job interview though. This isn't, Cory just having a bad day.
Right.
I'm telling you, this person I'm thinking about right now shouldn't be at the front.
Like, what to expect when you see
Unless
them.
it's me.
Right.
Which, come on.
Come on.
Who doesn't like Mosley?
Well, and you're giving.
I'm a fun guy at the register, right? I have a good time.
Right.
But like, it's
Chat
just
'em
like
up.
a sourpuss. Like, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah.
Work in the back.
Hostesses at restaurants, people that work at the check-in counter at the
Correct.
airport, people that
Correct.
work at the check-in counter
I
at a
went
hotel.
excited. Yeah. Brunch on Sunday. The lovely girl there, it's her first. She's like, it's my first day.
Oh, awesome.
And we're having a great conversation.
Right.
Like, that's what I want. Upbeat Joe. She's excited.
You want engagement and you want.
Yeah, now somebody will piss her off in an hour. How long is this going to take? But
Right.
good. But at least she started with the right attitude.
Right. She's got a chance.
Yeah.
She's
People
got-
will test you.
Right.
No doubt. You know?
Exactly.
All right. Let's talk about, so we talked about some signs for innovation now, because here are the dangers, though.
Yeah.
Now, if we're just chasing shiny objects, because the
Yes.
idea has to be just because it's new doesn't mean it's right for you.
Correct.
And it is a needle. Let me be very clear. This is a needle you have to thread,
Yes.
because there are people who wait too long.
Right.
Oh, we don't need that. We don't need that in our business. That's not going to work in our business, Corey. That's not going to work in this industry, or we don't need any of that stuff. So there's so much skepticism, you don't
Right.
do anything.
Correct.
So you really do want to find balance, right? And that's why we're kind of laying this out. Hey, here are some signs, run those things through the ringer,
Right.
whatever you're considering. Because number one, fads fade fast.
Wow. Look at you.
Come on, anything for me? Nothing. Now, it'd be voice of reason if you said it. This is some bull. I almost cursed.
Some bull hockey.
Give me that right now. I want that right now. Voice of reason. Yeah.
Voice of
Yeah,
reason.
that's right. Me too.
That's funny.
Yeah. Fads fade fast. And again, we've seen this with a lot of social things
Yes.
that came on real hot, that were out for a while.
Right.
What's the audio thing that got real hot during COVID?
Oh, Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were on there.
It was, yeah.
Doing some
there was,
stuff.
There was a couple. There were a couple.
I mean, it still exists,
Right.
but I don't think it's nowhere near what it was.
I haven't been on it in
Right?
3+ years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Oh, has it been that long?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, there you go. It's like that was a place people were, banging on that thing, trying to get their rooms and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people made some money with it. I mean, like
Oh,
most things if you write it, but
Right.
but imagine like committing to do some XYZ type thing.
Correct.
So fads fade fast. Number two, it distracts from strategy.
It does.
So consistently switching gears derails consistency and makes your team hesitant to adopt anything new.
Right.
The running joke in my office used to be that our CRM was on wheels because I would switch technology so often.
And I believe that.
I'm proud to say I don't do that anymore. We've stuck with many of the same products and services. So ha 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 ha.
Yay.
And here's your third one, which also kind of goes to which I can say I'm guilty of too. It burns resources.
Oh, yeah.
So time, money, energy spent chasing trends can pull attention
Yes.
from your core strengths and customer needs.
Yeah. And I think the most important thing in this conversation, and we're talking about all the things that it can do to damage your business. And there's and I'm a big fan of the Jim Collins books, and he has this concept called productive paranoia. Something's going to happen. You don't know what, but you need to be prepared to deal with certain things. And I think what you want to have is you want to have a filter that you can run these things through,
Right.
so that it says, all right, this makes sense for us and we want to move forward with it, or we're willing to commit a small amount of our resources to see if it works. And then we can so there's ways that you can get about it. But if, like you said, if your CRM is on wheels and you're chasing it, you're chasing the new CRM every 3 months or every month.
Right. Right.
It not only does it waste resources, it frustrates your people. It goes back to the employee experience, right? They don't know what they want, what you want from them. And they don't know how you want them to do it because it's going to change. Well, the only thing we know is that Corey's going to change his mind this month.
Right.
So, all the things that you're talking about, absolutely.
All right. So let's talk about how to innovate strategically,
Perfect.
not reactively.
Perfect.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Innovation should be intentional,
Yes.
measured,
Yes.
and aligned
Yes.
with your growth goals, right? And that doesn't have to be the same for everybody.
Correct.
So number one is really, revisit your business vision.
Yeah.
So innovating should be supportive of where you're trying to go,
Yes.
not distract from where you're trying to go.
100%. And I talk about, how have you defined success for your business?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the perfect filter? Does the innovation that you're considering get you closer to the way you've defined success?
Is it aligned?
Is it aligned?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is it Is it in line? Is it aligned? Does it
Mhm.
get you going in the right direction? And if the answer is yes, well then, try it.
Right.
And then maybe you try it on a small level.
Yeah.
And then, it's like a taste test. And, the people that get married go test wedding cake
Mhm.
flavors.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, you get to taste one before you buy the whole cake.
That's right.
Maybe you can get a taste, or maybe you can get a trial opportunity or a trial membership, but figure out a way to do it. But like you said, is it?
Look at you
allowed?
jumping ahead. Pilot before you scale.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah.
That's basically what you just said.
That's
Pilot
exactly
before
right.
you test new tools, offers, and models, small segment of your audience,
Correct.
or internally, measure results before make a full commitment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you just saved us
Yep.
one here.
There you go.
There you go.
Taste test, right?
Yeah.
Or it's the Chinese food at the mall. They give you a sample.
Oh, yeah.
They're walking around with samples.
Boba and chicken.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
They're walking around with samples
That's
because they want you to
delicious, too.
taste it.
That was delicious.
Yeah.
You ever had that bourbon chicken?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It
Very
is good.
Yeah,
It
it was
is.
good.
So is the sweet and sour.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, mess with that.
Yeah.
That bourbon chicken had me back then.
Good.
Back in the day.
Yep.
I worked in malls.
Mm.
Did you ever
Well,
work in a mall?
Yeah.
You did? What
Yep.
would you? Oh, yeah. Well,
Well, I worked in a sport. Well,
recently, before.
Recently, I represented a sailfish.
Yeah.
But I've sold men's clothes. Like when I
Okay.
was in college, I sold men's clothes, and
My
I
first
also worked
job,
in a sporting goods
the
store.
polo counter. Very, very Cory.
Yeah,
That's a very Cory first job.
very Cory first
The
job.
polo counter.
100%. And now you're repping Peter Millar.
The
here,
Peter
so-
Millar counter.
That's right.
Yes.
So
Just
yeah.
as expensive. Okay. So, yeah. Number 2, feedback from customers.
yes,
Find out what they actually want. We've talked about this.
We have.
And I'm going to talk about it again
right,
until people get it.
right,
They get in the meeting and they start planning out things they're going to do to increase the customer experience, and they never ask the customer.
right,
Now, that doesn't mean you have to do what the customer says.
right,
Although, if it's a customer-centric thing.
right.
But you certainly want to have the information
Correct.
to instead of rolling out some program or service or whatever. I mean, I've seen it so many times. Oh, this is going to be great. Everybody's going to love it. And no,
Right.
it wasn't great. Nobody loves it.
Well, and what happens a lot is there some people don't ask for customer guidance or feedback, and so they don't really understand. It's like, we think this is a good idea.
Right.
The other piece of it, and I've done that too, so I'll take, standing firmly on the ground in front of a mirror telling you that.
Yeah.
But the other piece of it is they're listening to the wrong customers.
Mm.
The vocal Brian Anderson, the president of our local chamber RVA, calls it the vocal minority,
Mm.
the people that make the most noise.
Right. The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Right. And those are, and often they'll listen to the people that are making noise and not the people that are their ideal clients
Right.
or their ideal customers. So understand what they're saying, also understand who's saying it.
Right.
And is that in line with your ideal customer? Because you may make a change based on something somebody gave you feedback, but if it's not your ideal customer, it may negatively impact the experience for your ideal customer.
100%.
Maybe this guy can help me.
Surveys, reviews, one-on-one conversations.
Yes.
These are the ways to discuss discover, I should say, some unmet needs.
Right.
3, audit your systems and processes.
Yeah.
Go looking for the bottlenecks, inefficiencies. And again, as you scale, or for our larger small businesses, right? Because there's a lot of room
Right.
in, some people say small business, we think 3-4 people.
Right.
Small business still, 75 people still small business.
Correct.
So once you get into that realm where you may not know what a process is, you may think it is one thing. Saw this a lot with the car dealers.
Mm.
Mr. Owner, what do you think is happening in this area?
Okay.
Right? And they've got one interpretation.
Right.
But that's not what's happening.
That's not exactly what's going on.
Right, because they're not dealing with it every day. So to them, they're like, oh, well, I've hired good people that should be handling this.
Right.
And that's not always the case, even if intent is good.
Right.
You may have good people.
Right.
That doesn't mean they're optimizing the process. So these bottlenecks, these inefficiencies, again, going back, is technology holding you back, not being a friend?
Right.
You've got a ton of iPads and all these apps, bad internet.
Right.
You're not on the right internet plan in your business
Right.
to save money. Oh, Cory, we can't spend that much money on the internet, but you got 72 devices trying to run. You're running your POS, you're running your KDS, you're running all the acronyms on the system. Go ahead.
Well, and I think the important thing is we talk about this a lot, and it's worth saying again, is build it into your planning. Build it into, do regular assessments, do whatever makes sense. If we're looking at certain scales, do it annually. If it's a smaller scale, do it quarterly or monthly. But evaluate these things regularly and make it part of your, as a business owner, make it part of your planning and your strategic assessments, whatever you want to call it. But when you do it regularly, it becomes part of your business. You can catch things. You're not waiting for something to go bad, like Sam Ash or like, like Kodak realized that digital cameras are the wave of the future.
So it's an innovation filter.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm going to get to that last, though.
Okay.
But that's what you're describing.
Yes.
You're good. You're pretty good.
I'm good at ESPN.
Or you got good vision. Maybe he's got the look. So, also benchmark against the industry. Now, you can stay aware of a trend without having to jump on every trend.
Correct.
And that's an important distinction. You can have awareness without following through that process. It's simply asking yourself the question, right? Is this something our best competitors are doing successfully?
Right.
And would it work for us?
Right.
Maybe it wouldn't work for us
Right.
for geographical reasons, location reasons, parking, logistics,
Right.
Legalities.
Right.
We can't do that in, Virginia.
Correct.
You can do that in New Jersey or Texas, but we can't do that here. Auto industry. Going back to that as a reference, in the state of Virginia, you cannot pay someone for a referral.
Oh, wow.
Where that is big business in the Northeast.
Okay.
Like brokering is big business in the Northeast. I send you a customer. You're sending me $500 for a referral.
Okay.
You can't do it, or at least during my time, you couldn't do that. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So even when big corporations would come into the market, they would have to do, so like lead companies.
Okay.
You can't charge someone for leads in the state
in
that way.
All right.
So they would have to have subscriptions. So in New Jersey, you could say, okay, we're going to charge, company A is going to charge, we're going to charge you $25 a lead that we send you to potentially sell a car. Can't do that here. They can't do that in Virginia. So what they'd have to come up with is, all right, great. So you're in the Richmond area. They'd have to do some math on their end and go, all right, it's $3,800 a month for the subscription. And that gets you all the leads with the idea that they've averaged that math out. But that's how it had to be presented there. So again, you may want to innovate in certain ways, but you may have certain barriers. So it is really, but again, awareness is important. Then determine if it's something that could be for you.
Yeah, and this is where, we talk about these early, middle, and late adopters, right? There are some people that have a tendency to want to jump on a trend. It's really important. It's not so important as to where you fall in those categories as it is to understand which one of those categories describes you best. And so what I mean by that is if you're an early adopter like a Cory Mosley, have a filter in place that says, okay, let's figure out what makes sense to jump on and what doesn't.
Gotcha.
What is the environment like you talk about? In New Jersey, you can do one thing.
Correct.
In Virginia, you got to do it a different way.
Yeah.
And that's important when you've got relationships with people in the same industry throughout the country. You may meet them at an association meeting and somebody says, hey, this worked great for me.
Right.
You got to know what you have the ability to do.
That's right.
In Virginia or wherever you are.
That's right. All right. Finally, you alluded to it, so we're going to give you kind of some thoughts about it. But this last one is what we're calling an innovation filter. So create an innovation filter.
Yeah.
And that's really just a checklist
for
evaluating new ideas.
Right.
Does it solve a real problem?
Okay.
Is there a clear ROI?
Right.
Can you implement it with existing resources?
Right.
Innovation isn't always about buying something new or spending money. And then finally, will it serve our ideal customer?
Yes. And the way to do that is to go to somewhere that doesn't involve making a decision at that moment. Put your filter together without any pressure of trying to make a decision. Have that filter. Say, what are the things that I need to consider when it comes to new technology, when it comes to innovation, when it comes to making changes in the business, and put that list together, and then run it by a couple people in your business that you trust. If you've got people in your business, say, am I considering what I need to consider when we're making these decisions? But if you're trying to do it while you're driving, it's hard. It's hard to do it because you're going to lean to whatever's going to be most appealing to you at that time.
That's right. Folks, we want you to remember, innovation is about progress, not distraction.
Correction.
So obviously it's easy to get excited about the next big thing. We're being beaten ahead with all these innovations and AI and all these different factors. But the great businesses grow by aligning innovation with strategy.
Correct.
So staying grounded, staying intentional, and you'll innovate with impact, not impulse.
Well said. Woo.
Yeah, there you go.
When the church say amen.
Indeed.
Anything like you'd like to add, Mr. Graham?
Well, I think to going back to your book, Cory, there's the 5 pillars of growth.
Yeah.
Understand that innovation, we're talking about it internally on the operations side, but it's one piece of the whole thing. You want to, like we've talked about, you want to understand how it impacts people. You want to understand how it impacts the mindset. You want to understand, then once you create it, how are you going to be able to sell it, or how are you going to be able to use it to sell better and sell more? So understand this is a piece of it. And what we're trying to give you is a way to figure out what makes sense for your business and what doesn't, and how you can do it in the most effective way.
There it is.
Voice of reason.
Whatever. All right, folks. Well, we're going to leave it right there. Yeah. I hope there was some solid information here, as always, so you can start the process of thinking about, innovation. Is it time? What to do? How to do it? And keep these things at the front of your conversations as you're thinking about what your growth plan is. Are you on? We're coming out of Q1. Are you on track? Are you not on track? Probably something we want to look at going into Q2 or covering Q2 for that. And really, keep coming back here.
Yes.
Keep coming back as we're going to keep tackling these topics that we think will grow your business. And we obviously also welcome your feedback. hello@CoryMosley.com. It's another area that you can send your feedback in, or you have suggestions or things you've been dealing with that maybe would make for a good show topic. Look at that. Asking the audience.
There you go.
We want to ask the audience to do that. And we want to continue. We encourage you to share this with other business owners. We're available on all streaming platforms, or the most popular ones, I suppose. Google, Amazon, iHeart, Apple. And you can find us on YouTube as well.
What's that other one that does the video thing? Starts with an S. What's it called?
Spotify.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. We're available in video format on YouTube at CoryMosley.com and on Spotify. That's right. All right. Well, we're getting out of here. Any, you good?
Same thing. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming back. And next time, bring a friend.
There you go. I like it. Well, this has been another episode of the Grow Business Podcast. On behalf of myself, LG007, Lon Graham, and Willie H., we will see you next time. Willie H., take us out.
Yeah, see, so you tricked me.
Why?
Because you went operations back to back.
It just worked out that way, I think.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I thought this was important. I thought this was an important topic.
It's
and just so happened to fall into that category.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you still got, it's only 5 choices. So, you could do better if you wanted to. You got to rethink your assumptions about it, is the key.
I got a 20% chance of being right.
Exactly. Try it again
Most
next
times,
week.
Right. Most times.
Same bet, please. Same bet channel. Good job.
Thank you. Fun times. Thank you.
All right.
Good to see you.
You as well.